All right, and with that, I think we will kick it off. So, this webinar is intended to give a full comprehensive overview of doTERRA's compensation plan elevated, which are the compensation plan changes we're planning to make this summer of 2025. We recognize that many of you have potentially heard about these changes before. Some of you will be hearing about it for the first time. And so the way we've structured our planned webinar today is to start with the pieces that we think will be most relevant for those of you who are level 1 Power of 3 earners and elites who are hearing about this for the first time. And then if you wish to stay on for the whole webinar, towards the end, we'll get into some of the details that primarily affect people at higher ranks. So John, if you can go to the first slide. We will record this call and we will post this in the digital marketing kit so everyone is able to rewatch this as well. First off, we want to give you a little bit of background about why we're making these changes. We recognize that changing a compensation plan is a big deal and it affects a lot of people. And it's something that we at doTERRA Corporate don't take lightly. We have spent over a year on this project, and we feel right now, 2025 is the right time to make this change while we are in an excellent financial position and we are excited about the future, and we see these changes as a way to propel our growth as we move forward. Just as a little bit of background, we're basically making these changes for a few key reasons. The first is that we have over now 17 years recognized that there are certain pain points in our compensation plan and certain areas of opportunity. And what we're trying to do with these changes is take advantage of those areas of opportunity to, for example, pay more to those who are actively engaged in growing doTERRA, while also resolving some pain points that we know exist for many of you and your leaders. And so that's the short story on why we're making these changes. We've done hundreds of leader conversations. We have surveyed thousands of wellness advocates. We've met with industry experts. We have modeled and analyzed data. And all of that has led us to where we're at today, where we're sharing doTERRA's compensation plan elevated. John, if you can go to the next slide. There are, in our current compensation plan, 5 ways to earn money with doTERRA, as you can see here. There's Fast Start, there's Unilevel, there's Power of 3, leadership pools, and retail profit. And with these changes, all of those are staying. And we actually want to make a big call out here because those of you who might be following the news in our industry may have noticed that some other companies have been leaving the direct sales channel in favor of affiliate models or other types of business models. And with this change, doTERRA is absolutely not doing that. In fact, we are doubling down on what we have here. We're keeping all of these, but we are making changes and enhancements to improve them. And if you show the next slide, you can see 3 stars here, one on Unilevel, one on Power of 3, and one on leadership pools. These are the 3 parts of our compensation plan that are changing. Fast Start and the retail profit bonus are unchanged. The last thing, I think 2 more things to call out before we jump into it. First is that doTERRA from the start has been committed to paying 48% of commissionable volume to you, our wellness advocates. This has been the target since day 1. And as far as we can tell, we are paying the most generous compensation to our field compared to all of our other competitors in the industry. So we are not trying to change this. We have never actually gone below 48%. In some cases, we've paid out a little bit more, and you'll see some changes here that are aimed at helping us maintain this 48% target and not exceed it. But we are not shifting below this by any means. We are committed to you, our wellness advocates, and there is no world where we are going to change that level of commitment that we have. The last thing I want to share is that all of this, if you go to the next slide, John, all of what we're talking about today, we have developed a series of marketing assets to help you understand and share with others on your team. And you can find those at this QR code, which is our digital marketing kit. In that folder, you'll see a document that outlines all of the changes, a podcast that's about an hour long that walks through everything we're going to talk about today from a different angle. So that might be a great way to also learn about all these changes. We'll also have the new compensation plan documents. So just basically the go forward compensation plan and other assets as well. So feel free to go to that QR code. We'll also show it at the end of this call so everyone has a chance to access these documents as we go forward. With that, we're going to jump into the changes, and I'm going to start with Power of 3 Simplified. We are super excited about this change because it solves some very real pain points that we have become well acquainted with over the years. And we think that this is going to be a great thing for you and for your teams and for the growth of doTERRA long term. The overall goal of this change is to help you focus on customers' rewards orders instead of specific people ordering specific amounts of PV. And we're, especially excited that this is going to remove a few pain points that we have experienced over the years. And if you can go to the next slide, John, I'll walk through those. The first one is that every month, everyone earning the Power of 3 bonus has to have 300 PV orders each month. And this means that if someone places a 95 PV order, it doesn't count, right? Or if they place a 99 PV order, it doesn't count. And over the years, I know this has created a situation in which wellness advocates, many of you may have experienced this, feel like you have to, sell your customers what you need in order to get your bonus instead of what they need. And with the changes that I'm about to announce, we will be removing the need to have 300 PV orders. The second one is that, if you actually stay on that slide, the second barrier that we're getting rid of is currently under the existing Power of 3 rules, if someone in the structure decides not to place a 100 PV order, it can effectively break the entire Power of 3 structure. So someone who's earning their level 3 bonus, for example, could have one person on the third level who doesn't place their order and no bonus. And this is quite harsh. There's ways that people have learned to get around that, but we recognize that it's been a real challenge for a lot of people. And with this change, we will be removing that challenge. And then third, as I mentioned, we're just excited to focus this bonus on what customers need. We think if we can be more customer focused, it's going to be a great thing for you and for the company. And that's what we're doing with this change. So with that backdrop, John, if you go to the next slide, let's get into what the new Power of 3 Simplified structure looks like. There are 2 requirements now under the new plan. Once it goes live, which it hasn't yet, and we'll get into the timing later in the call, there will be 2 requirements to earn Power of 3 Level 1. The first is to have 100 of personal rewards volume. This is the same requirement we have today. And the second is to have a 500 rewards volume pod on your front line. And this pod term is new. Basically, it refers to rewards volume on your first sponsor level or your front line. So this is different than the way it works today, where you have to have 600 in team volume, including your own order. Now it's 500 of rewards volume on your front line. And importantly, as you see here, there's a note, 100 of the 500 must be personally enrolled. This is a new rule that we're introducing that is effectively trying to make it so that those who have put forth the effort to earn their Power 3 bonus are those who earn it. And you're going to see a little bit later in the presentation some exciting things we're doing to even pay more to those people. But this is a new part of the Power of 3 Level 1 structure and an important one for you to understand. If you go to the next slide, we have a graphical representation of what this looks like. So there's you with your 100 PV rewards order, and then underneath there is your pod, which is your front line, and there must be 500 of LRP volume. Of that 500, 100 of it must be personally enrolled by you. Now, the situation where there wouldn't be 100 there is if someone above you placed all of the volume on your front line. In that case, you would no longer be able to earn the cash bonus of Power of 3 until you enroll someone and put them on your front line. Or it can be a group of people who sum to order over 100 PV. So that's the first level bonus. Let's go now to the second level. This bonus is $250. That's still unchanged. And it works very much like the current Power of 3, where you duplicate the same thing you did on the first bonus down onto the second level. And so the simplest way to put it would help 3 people on your front line earn their $50 bonus, and you would earn your $250 bonus. And what you can see here is that 3 people on your front line in this graphic have built a 500 Power of 3 pod underneath them. Now, those pods, I should note, can be the volume in those pods can come from 1 person who ordered 500, or from 10 people who ordered 50, or 100 people. Any amount of people will count towards the pod volume. So this is what the second level bonus looks like. The important call out here, which I mentioned earlier, actually, if you just stay there for one more second, is that if someone on your front line now chooses not to place their 100 PV order, let's say, for example, of those 4 people, the woman on the far left who has 500 LRP Power 3 pod under her, let's say she decides not to place her 100 PV order, it cannot break the structure. You will still continue to earn your bonus as long as there is still 500 in rewards order volume on your front line. So in this way, people under you in the structure have much less power over you to break your bonus structure. And we are really excited about that change. Then if you go to level 3, the first thing I want to call out here is that the bonus has been reduced by about 16% at the 3rd level. So currently it's $1,500 and is now moving to $1,250. And the reason for this is what I mentioned as I started the call, that in some cases, doTERRA has exceeded its financial targets through the 3rd level of Power of 3. And this is something we feel confident that this change will resolve for the long term. It will put doTERRA in a very stable, good position in the way that we're paying out commissions, but it is a change that we need to make. And fortunately, we're going to go into some more details in a minute about how you can actually earn this money back if you're earning the 3rd level Power of 3 bonus and even more. But this is a change that will be made when the compensation plan changes go live in a couple of months. Otherwise, if you look at the structure, you can see that this functions very much like the Power 3 bonus today, where now those on your 2nd level, if they earn $250, then you will earn your 3rd level bonus or $1,250 bonus. And the people on the 2nd level do that by building 3 Power of 3 pods under them, each with 500 of rewards volume. So that is Power of 3 in a nutshell. I think if you go to the next slide, we have one more. Actually, skip this one, John, if you just go to the next one after. This is like kind of one slide summary. If you want to take a picture, this would be the slide to do it. This is now what the new Power of 3 will look like. And this would be the simplest, kind of graphical way to show it to someone else on your team. And then lastly, if you go to the next slide, John, I want to call out that there are a couple of very key reports that we have coming for you or already available that we want to make sure you are able to access as we get into this transition period to the new compensation plan. The first one is coming very soon. All of you will receive an email with a link to, with the ability to either a link, or we'll show you how to access this report in the virtual office. And we're calling it the Comp Plan Transition Report. And what this will let you do is go in and see who on your team doesn't have 100 of the 500 LRP volume rewards order volume that is personally enrolled. So who on your team might be impacted by that rule. and who on your team doesn't have 500 of rewards order volume on their front line currently. So by seeing those two data points for your team, you'll be able to see everyone who's impacted by these changes, and we will have time. We have now at least 3 months ahead of us for those people to adjust before the new compensation plan goes into effect. I should add as well that specifically with the new rule that you have to have 500 of rewards volume on your front line, today, 80% of people meet that requirement. So if you're sitting here on the call and you're like, I'm not sure if I have that, most likely you do have that on your front line already. In fact, there are so many orders, I forgot the exact number, but there are like hundreds of thousands of orders that are below 100 PV that we haven't been counting under the current compensation plan rules that are now going to start counting as part of this change. And so most people will meet that requirement already. However, there is 20% who won't. And for that 20%, we recognize that you need to know who these people are, especially on your team. And so that data will all be available for you in this comp plan transition report, which is going to be made available to you in the next several weeks. So please watch for an email for that. If you go to the next slide, in the future, we're working on a really nice Power of Three tool, which will look like this, where you'll be able to very simply see who on your team is contributing to your Power of Three structure, how much they have in personal volume, how much they have in their rewards order pod volume, and a number of other metrics. So this is where we're going in the future for this metric. But in the short run, the report that you're going to want is that comp plan transition report, and that one we'll have over to you within the next several weeks. With that, I think I'm set to turn it over to Michael, who is going to cover the Power of Three boost.
Thank you so much, Isaac. And hello, everybody. I'm grateful to be with you today with Isaac and John. And we're really are so excited about these updates that are coming. And I hope that you are seeing the vision for that volume-based Power of Three and how that can impact and help you as you work toward your own Power of Three. And in general, helping your customers to be involved as well. Now, we are working to answer the questions that are going into the Q&A. So as you have questions, please continue to put those in the Q&A and we'll help with those. And then at the end of this call, we'll be giving you dates and times to be able to sign up for deeper dive calls as well, just as a reminder, where you can jump in and it won't be this webinar style where you can ask your questions, have back and forth dialogue. We want all of you to have that opportunity as you have questions. So make sure that you register for some of those trainings as well. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this boost. So the Power of Three boost is a critical part of these updates. One of the main things that we were trying to accomplish as we looked at making updates to our compensation plan was how can we pay our early active builders more? So this is the primary way that is being done is through this Power of Three boost. So I'm going to first talk about what the boost is, how you earn it, and then I'm going to talk about how we're funding that boost. So first of all, let's dive in. Next slide. Power of Three boost is the way where you are able to double your first level Power of Three and double your second level Power of Three. It's also the way for our current $1,500 earners to get back to $1,500 and even up to $1,750. So this is a critical piece. Now, one thing that I want to say really clear right out of the gates, volume-based Power of Three and the Power of Three boost are two separate things because Power of Three volume-based is a retention bonus. As you work to bring customers into doTERRA and we keep those customers, then we pay you a certain amount for retaining those customers. That's Power of Three, the 50, the 250, and the 1250. Now, as you're maintaining those customers and doing more work on top of that, of getting new customers into doTERRA and getting them on rewards, that is when you get paid an extra boost bonus. So you can choose to keep maintaining customers and you'll get those maintenance amounts that are the 50, 250, and 1250. But as you maintain customers and grow, that's when you get additional income. So let's go to the next slide and show you how you're going to earn this. So when you are earning your $50 Power of 3 bonus, and in that same month have 400 in personal growth volume, then you can double it and you get paid a total of $100 instead of 50. And in a minute, I'll talk about personal growth volume and what that means. But then if you're earning your 250 today, then when you have 800 in personal growth volume in the current month, then instead of 250, you'll actually get 500. And this is massive. What this means for many of our elites out there is that currently, when you're getting your 250 as an elite, you might be making about $350 with doTERRA total. So after this, you're going to be jumping up to almost double the income that you're getting today as an elite. So this is a huge, huge way for us to say to those executives, elites, premiers in the organization, how would you like to significantly increase the income that you're making with doTERRA? And for those who are active out there sharing doTERRA, you're already part of the way there, or you're there already. So let's talk about how you get this personal growth volume number that will help you to get those extra bonuses. So personal growth volume is defined as all of the rewards volume in the current month that comes from people that you have personally enrolled over the past 12 months. So you can see here in this example that over the past 12 months, I enrolled 4 people. I enrolled Scott in December, Ryan in April, I enrolled Lily in June, and Jane in October. Then you can see in November, how much did those customers order on rewards, so on LRP, on rewards in November? You can see Scott placed an order of 120, Jane placed an order of 125. So basically, we're counting up everything that they ordered on rewards this month, and that is your personal growth volume for the current month. So you're looking at all the people that you've personally enrolled in the past year and then seeing what they ordered this month. Now, on the next slide, I can show you another way to look at it because we want to make sure that you really understand how this works. So we have a few different ways for you to be able to see it. So here in this example, you can see that I enrolled Jenna in October, and then she joined the rewards program in November. I enrolled Scott in December, and then he got on rewards in January. Emily enrolled in November and got on rewards in December, and then Eve enrolled in January and got on rewards in February. So this slide it's clearly a perfect example. Not everybody you enroll is going to get on doTERRA rewards. We know that it takes a lot of work to do wellness consults and to help people to see the benefits. And sometimes it takes them a few months to decide they want to get on doTERRA rewards. But the point of showing you this example is to show you that once you get 4 people on doTERRA rewards, so by February of 2025, you can see that I have 4 people on doTERRA rewards, and my total personal growth volume in February is 400. The beauty of the 12-month rolling count shows you right here in this example, even if I don't get anyone else on doTERRA rewards for the next 6 months, I'm maintaining 400 in personal growth volume every month. And that's because those customers are still ordering. So even without adding new people, I'm still getting my boost. I'm getting my $50 boost every single month. So I know this example is a perfect example, but the point is to show you that over the year, if you're consistently bringing in people and getting them on doTERRA rewards, then what it turns into is that you need to be bringing in 1 new person on doTERRA rewards about every 3 months is what that looks like to be consistently getting 400 in personal growth volume every month. And we want it to be this way because many of you join direct sales because you want the flexibility. And that's what we're doing here is giving you the flexibility so that you can go from periods where maybe you're doing Silver Club for the next 3 months. So you bring in a lot of enrollments and get those people on doTERRA rewards. But then there's a phase where you're not doing as much. And that's okay because it's a 12-month rolling cycle. Okay, and one last slide to show you an example is in your back office today, you get to go into the quick reports and there's a personal growth report there. That's your personal growth volume. And when you click into that report, what you'll see is a table that shows you all of the people that you have personally enrolled in the past year. You can see when they enrolled, you can see what level of the tree they're on for you, and you can see when they're scheduled to, if they're scheduled on doTERRA rewards, when that is, as well as how much volume they're scheduled to place. At the top, I can see my total PGV, total personal growth volume. So that would show you the orders that have been placed through that day. So if I was looking, today is March 10th, then what happens is you're able to look at it and say, thank you. I just realized I wasn't plugged in. Okay, so what that does for you is you're able to go in and say, okay, who do I need to contact? Who are the people that I enrolled who are not on doTERRA rewards? Can I go back to them and see if they're interested in that? Can I go back to them and see how I can help them to have another wellness consult to help their orders start counting toward this? So this personal growth volume report is essentially showing you this is your to-do list. This is where you focus. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. So this next slide is going to show us all of the ways that you can get a boost through working on personal growth volume. So you can see when you're earning level 1 in Power of 3 and you have 400 or more in personal growth volume, then you get an additional 50 for a total of 100. When you're earning your 250 Power of 3 and you have 400, you can get that $50 bonus to get 300. Or if you have 800 or more in personal growth volume, you'll get an additional 250 to get 500 total. And at the third level, you have 3 different options. At 400 PGV, you can get an additional 50, or at 800 PGV, you get an additional 250, or at 1200 PGV, you get an additional 500. So you can see that those of you earning the 1250, when you have 800, you'll get back up to 1500. And when you have 1200 in PGV, you actually get all the way up to 1750. So hopefully what this shows you is all the different ways that you can leverage the boost to get additional bonuses with doTERRA. And yes, you can get it at the top levels, but the most significant impact that this has is for our elites and premiers out there who really need more income with doTERRA. And this shows them a path to that income. So hopefully you're catching the vision there. We're really excited about what this does for our new active builders. And not even new, our existing active builders as well. Okay, now the next thing that I want to talk about is just a little bit about how you can phrase this as you're sharing. So let's go, can we go to the next slide? Okay, so actually backing up a little bit. So we have our Boost the Business promo that is going on right now from February to May. So it was just announced that that is extended in April and May. Sorry, John, the next slide. I said back, but I was talking to myself a little bit. Okay, so this is the Boost Your Business promo. It's a little bit different from the permanent updates. So what we just looked at were the permanent changes. This is the promo that we're running until the updates come in June. So through May, you have the opportunity to already get these boosts. The difference is that the promo is based on existing Power of 3 structure, where you need 3 people ordering 100 PV and you need 600 team volume. So based on your existing Power of 3, you can be getting these boosts. So that's what this is through May. And what I would recommend as a strategy for you is, because we're moving to volume-based Power of 3 in June, and as Isaac mentioned, there's 20% of people who are going to be short a little bit in one of their pods. You should use this boost promo now to help fill any holes in your volume-based Power of 3. So over the next 3 months, before we launch the updates, make sure you're working on this boost. And as you're generating personal growth volume and you have those new people getting on doTERRA rewards, check your pods to make sure you have that 500 in total rewards volume, so that by the time we get to June, you've already filled any holes in your volume-based Power of 3. If you're in that 20% who is short volume in the 500 pod, use this boost as the way to fill those, so that when we get to June, not only are you already getting your boost every month, but you've also filled any holes that you might have in your volume-based power of three. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the next, which is sharing the pathway to be able to get to $500 a month. So this is a really important piece as you're going out and sharing with people, hey, with doTERRA, you can earn $500 sharing products you love. And how are you going to do that? First, you have 100 PV rewards order yourself. Second, you have 500 in rewards volume directly underneath you, and that's called a Power of Three pod. So that 500, like we said, could be one person, could be 10 people. It doesn't matter. But a great example way to show it here is help 4 people to get started with foundational wellness with the foundational wellness bundle. When you do that, then you automatically have a 500 pod. And then what the duplication looks like from there is you help 3 of those people do the same thing. So when you do it yourself and you get 500 directly underneath you, you'll get $100. Because if you're new with doTERRA, all your volume is new. So you'll automatically be boosting. So when you present this to someone, you say, hey, let's get you to $100 a month in the next couple of months. And let's get you to $500 a month in 4 to 5 months. And this is how you're going to do it, is you're going to get 4 people on foundational wellness directly underneath you. And then you're going to help 3 people do the same. And that's how you get $500 a month. This is really exciting for those people who are just getting started. And the great news is that even if you're an existing customer and you're not just getting started, your path to the 500 looks really similar. Get 4 people on foundational wellness, and that gets you above your boost. It also helps you to fill any holes that you might have in your volume-based power of 3, so that you also can be doing the same thing to get $500 a month. Okay, now let's go ahead on to the next slide. Thank you. So now what we want to talk about is, this is amazing that doTERRA is doing these great things. We're giving a lot of additional income. Now, as we do that, where is that coming from? How are we funding that? So the way that we will fund the Power of 3 boost is from Unilevel. Currently, our Unilevel shows we pay 2% on that first level of Unilevel. Now, doTERRA has a unique opportunity here. Because of the way that our Unilevel is flipped compared to other Unilevel structures out there, we pay the smallest percentage at the top and the highest percentage deeper down. So for most people, we're paying you the smallest percentage where you likely have the least number of people, and the highest percentage where you likely have the most. It's a great Unilevel plan. It really helps as you're building doTERRA long-term and supporting that customer base. But what we find is that we're paying thousands of people between $7 to $10 on their first level of Unilevel with that 2%. That's the average, $7 to $10. So we really felt that we could be more efficient with that 2%. So what we're doing is we're going to remove that 2% from Unilevel and we're going to put it into the boost. That's how we're funding the boost, to give the additional 50, the additional 250, and the additional $500 bonus for those of you out there who are out there actively sharing doTERRA. Now, this is what it will look like on the Unilevel chart moving forward. Is on that first level, it's going to show that instead of saying 2% on level 1, it will say earn up to $100 in Power of 3 from level 1 volume. So you still have the opportunity to earn from the volume that's happening on your first level, but it's not Unilevel. It's going to be through Power of 3. So you'll be getting $50 or $100. Now, one of the things that Isaac shared that is so exciting is that day 1 after moving to volume-based Power of 3, we'll have 11,000 new people earning $50. Why? Because those people have been sharing doTERRA and their customers are on rewards. They just don't have 3 people ordering 100. But they do have 500 in total volume. I can't think of people more deserving. Those people definitely deserve to get that $50. So this is really exciting. With the shift to volume-based Power of 3, you're still going to be earning on that first level volume, but it'll be through Power of 3, not through Unilevel. Now, that's the first update where you're going to see volume moving from one place in the plan to another place. So please make sure that your advocates out there, as social media, people start asking questions and saying, why did doTERRA remove the 2%? Are they trying to get money back? This 2% is something that is, we are not taking this back in the company. The 2% is going directly to fund the Power of 3 boost. So we hope that you as our leaders help people understand that. That 2% is going from Unilevel straight to the Power of 3 boost. Now, the second place where you're going to be seeing volume moving in our comp plan, and again, we're not taking anything back here. This is doTERRA moving from one part to another part of the plan. This is also in Unilevel. So currently, we have a policy in the manual that states that when you want to be paid on your 6th and 7th levels of Unilevel, you need to enroll one person each quarter with 100 PV. Now, many of you on the call are probably thinking, well, I've never heard that before. That's because we've never enforced that policy. It's in the manual, but we've never enforced it. And as we looked at these updates and said, is now the time to enforce this policy? We really saw that this policy wasn't going to accomplish really what we wanted to, or help our early active builders, which is what we're trying to do here. So rather than doing that, we are updating the policy and enforcing it at the same time. So the new policy will be that you need a certain amount of team growth volume happening in your team in order to be paid the 2 deepest levels of Unilevel. Now, why would doTERRA put in something like this to say you need to have some growth happening to be able to get your 2 deepest levels of Unilevel? Now, the main reason that we're doing this is so that we can be more efficient in how we pay out Unilevel. Let me give you a couple of examples. So in today's Unilevel, you might have a situation where we have 4 wellness advocates right on top of each other. And then underneath them, there's an elite. Because that person hit elite, the 4 wellness advocates above will automatically be elite too, even if they've never enrolled anybody. And because they're elite, we start paying them 5 levels of Unilevel. Now, we feel that that's not an efficient way to pay out Unilevel. We want to be able to pay more to our active builders out there, those of you on this call who are out there sharing doTERRA and working on building a doTERRA business. Now, if you are in a situation where you were lucky to have someone build underneath you and you became an automatic elite, that's great. And you'll still get some Unilevel. If you want to get all of the Unilevel, then you'll need to have a minimum amount of growth happening in your team within a certain number of levels from you. And when you do that, you can still get the full Unilevel pay as before. So let's go ahead onto the next slide and I'll show exactly what this will look like. So first of all, what is that metric? Team growth volume. Team growth volume is similar to personal growth volume, but a little different. So personal growth volume is for the boost. That's only LRP volume, so rewards volume, and only from people that you have personally enrolled. It's a pretty strict one. And that's because we're paying you extra money because of it. So we're going to ask for extra effort. Team growth volume is a much broader metric. It's meant to encompass all kinds of effort across your team because it's a minimum amount of growth. It's not supposed to be something that pushes you like personal growth volume. It's supposed to be measuring a minimum amount of activity. So what it is team growth volume is all the volume in the current month that comes from team members who have enrolled or reactivated in the previous 12 months. So similar to personal growth volume, it's looking at the past 12 months. But it's not just your own enrollments. It's enrollments from your team members as well. And it's not just enrollments, it's reactivations as well. So as your team is enrolling people and reactivating people, and as you are enrolling people and reactivating people, those people can help contribute toward team growth volume. So we look in the current month and say, okay, of those people that reactivated or enrolled in the last 12 months, how many of them are placing an order today? And we're going to count standard orders. We're going to count rewards orders. All the different types of orders count toward this metric. As long as you're helping someone to order again, it helps count toward team growth volume. Now, let's look at how this impacts our elites through golds. And then a little bit later, John will talk about how team growth volume impacts our platinums and above. But for our elites through gold, oh, sorry, I just went through that. So we'll show this before we move on. Thanks, John. This is an example of team growth volume for you to be able to see. So you can see here in this example on my level 1, I have Anna, Jenna, Ellie, and Scott, who the total volume that they're placing this month is 500. And that means that I have 500 in the current month from that level. The next level, all those people, Ben, Casey, Haley, Natalie, Jen, those are all people that enrolled in the past 12 months. And how much are they ordering today? 1,000 total. So you can see that level by level, it adds up until I can see my total team growth volume in 3 levels is 3,000. Okay, and I think now the next slide is going to show you what this could look like in your back office. So this report is already available for you. It's also under quick reports in your back office. It's called Team Growth Volume. And you can see a list of all the people that your team has enrolled or reactivated in the last 12 months. And then you can see what they're ordering. So it helps you to know, again, who you could focus on. If you're trying to increase your team growth volume number, go back to these people who maybe enrolled or reactivated in the past year but haven't ordered since. See if they want to order again. Do they want another Deep Blue? Are they interested in getting on doTERRA rewards and transforming their health and wellness with foundational wellness? It depends on the customer, but this gives you a list, a focus list for you to know where to go. Now, one of the things that I love about Team Growth Volume is that it gets everybody to focus on loving on your new customers for the first year after they enroll or after they reactivate. When you do that, your retention increases so much. Right now, most people take care of customers really well for about 2 months after they enroll. That's because of Fast Start. But if you take care of them a little bit longer, then you see that they last much longer as customers. And that's how you have a thriving business that you don't have to rebuild every month. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the next slide. And this is how this will impact our elites through golds. So in order to get paid the 2 deepest levels of Unilevel, for elites through gold, you need to have a designated amount of team growth volume. Elites need 300 in team growth volume in their first 3 sponsor levels. Premiers need 400 in 4 sponsor levels. Silvers need 500 in 5 levels. And golds need 600 in 6 levels. So as you rank advance, you get to count more activity that's happening underneath you because your influence goes down. The reason that we give you more levels as you advance is because if you're an elite today and you have a diamond underneath you, you're not going to get the credit for everything that that diamond does. It's going to be the levels that are closest to you where you get credit for that activity that's happening. Now, as we look at this, I already explained elites, and I think people understand the elites really well. That if you have stacked elites, maybe you have people in a scenario where they haven't enrolled anybody, but they're getting paid Unilevel just because they got lucky with volume underneath them. And it is true that most of the blessed volume that's coming back from this policy is coming from elites because of all those stacked elites we have through doTERRA. But some will be coming from premiers, some from silvers, and very few from golds. So a question that I often get is, well, if you're a silver, then you worked hard. It is not easy to be silver. You're going out and you're generating all this volume in 3 different legs. So why is there a requirement for me to get paid on my 2 deepest levels? So one of the things that we're going to be addressing with this as well, besides just the stacked elites, is also blessed accounts. So what is a blessed account? A blessed account is someone who has volume that exceeds what is normal for that rank. So I can give you an example. If you're a silver and you have 3 elites underneath you, then you're a pretty normal silver. So you have 3 elites and you'll have a normal silver Unilevel. But if you're a silver who has 2 elites and a diamond, then you're a silver who's making a diamond type Unilevel. And that's a significant amount of money that you're making with doTERRA, which is great. And in some cases, maybe you're even the person who enrolled that diamond, which is phenomenal. And so we want you to be getting the greatest benefit from bringing that person in. In many cases, the diamond that is under there was enrolled by someone else. And the silver is blessed by having that volume underneath there to have a massive Unilevel check. So what we're saying here is that we're still happy to pay out that blessed Unilevel to people who have huge teams underneath them. But in order to do that, we need to see a minimum amount of activity that's happening in your organization, of growth activity. And then we'll pay that triple, sometimes quadruple sized Unilevel to these silvers and golds. Now, for those silvers and golds who are below the metric, if you are a regular silver, as I mentioned, so you have 3 elites underneath you, you don't have massive volume, then even if you were below this metric, it wouldn't impact you very much. As we looked at many examples, it might be $100, $150. It depends on how things are structured. But the majority of people who are elite, premier, and silver, they're focused on power of three. So they're putting most of their volume in their first 3 levels. So most of them don't have large volume deeper down. It's really the accounts that have massive teams underneath them that will be most impacted by this. So, as I said, if you want access to that blessed volume moving forward, then you'll need to make sure you have a minimum amount of growth activity happening in your team. So for an elite, for example, you need 300. That means you need 3 people to get on foundational wellness each year. If you help 3 people to get on foundational wellness each year, and not just your effort, but your team's effort as well, then you'll continue to get all of the blessed volume underneath there. So I hope you can see that these are very low requirements for team growth volume. They're meant to be a minimum amount of activity required to access that full Unilevel. Now, what do we do once we have that blessed volume come back? So if someone doesn't qualify for the blessed volume, then doTERRA will take that volume and put it into our pools to pay our active builders more. That's what all of these updates are about, is to help doTERRA to be even more efficient with the 48% that we're paying out, because we're paying out a lot. We're one of the highest in the industry. And we want to be more efficient to pay that 48% as much as we can to our active builders that are out there. Those of you on this call, thank you so much for all of your efforts and that you're doing sharing doTERRA. You're the reason why doTERRA is where we are today. So the blessed volume that will come from this policy will be put into the pools to pay our active builders more. And I'll share, I'm going to pass the baton on to John Jensen, who's going to talk to us about how that volume is being used in the pools to pay our active builders more, and also how team growth volume is going to be impactful for our platinums and above. So on to you, John.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about some of the benefits to builders of these changes. So, again, with shifting these funds, where are some of these funds going? And excited to talk about that. So let's talk about the pool bonuses. So, you're familiar with this. This is the existing compensation plan and kind of how, we've got the different pools, including the empowerment pool, the leadership performance pool, the diamond performance pool, and then the individual diamond pools. And we are making enhancements to that. So let's look at what that means. So first of all, we are adding additional funds to the empowerment pool. So as a reminder, this is the pool where if you are at the rank of Premier to Gold and you enroll one person with 100 PV in a given month, then you can qualify for an extra share. You can qualify for a share in this pool. And traditionally that's been somewhere around $160 per share. And now we are actually increasing that by adding an additional 0.25% into this pool, which will bump it up an additional $40. So for the same effort on enrolling a one person each month, you can get an additional $40 for a total share value of around $200. It changes from month to month, but it'll average around $200. So that's basically an instant pay increase for anybody that is qualified for this bonus. And for those of you who are maybe gold or above, maybe the rank at gold, you can still earn 2 shares by enrolling 2 people with 100 PV in a given month and earn a total of $400 from this bonus. So this is a great way to, again, pay additional money to those who are actively engaged in building the doTERRA business. We're also taking an additional 0.5% and adding it into what in the past was called the Diamond Performance Pool. We're renaming it to the Performance Pool because we are actually adding platinums to this pool now. So platinums will be able to earn in this pool and be able to qualify for this awesome bonus. So what that means is platinums will be able to get an additional increase in their earnings. They'll be able to get we're anticipating an additional, so this is on top of what they have been earning to qualify at Platinum before, an additional about $1,000 per month. So what this means is if you have goals of reaching the rank of Platinum at some point, or maybe you are Platinum already, this is an opportunity for we just sweeten the pot. So basically, as you're able to reach the rank of Platinum, you'll be able to get additional money beyond what you were able to earn as Platinum before. And this is because we've noticed Platinum is a rank where, it takes a ton of effort to get up to the rank of Platinum. You go from Gold to Platinum, and you're talking about a huge increase in the volume that's needed. And we wanted to make sure that those earnings were represented that effort well, and Platinums were being well compensated for that. I also wanted to call out that the team growth volume metric that Michael mentioned earlier, so it does apply to the Platinum and above ranks as well. So with the Platinum and above ranks, it'll apply to the pool bonuses. Basically how it will work is, if there's a certain threshold, and if you are beneath that threshold, you'll earn a certain number of shares, and you can unlock additional shares by exceeding that threshold. And so it's just an opportunity to be able to increase the earnings there as well. So that, and this also helps to kind of control the pools in a way that helps maintain like a good, healthy, strong pool. So we're very excited for these changes. I also want to call out another benefit that we're adding to help get you to the rank of Platinum or above. We're calling it rank compression. Basically what it is, it's a new function within our compensation plan that will allow you to qualify for somebody within your organization beneath you that's in your enrollment tree, and we'll talk about what that means in a second. But maybe you don't have personal enrollment of. So it allows you to work with those people that are engaged and excited throughout your organization, even if you don't necessarily have personal enrollment. Let's look at an example of what that looks like. So let's say in this example, Jessica is currently meeting the rank of Gold. She has personal enrollment of these individuals with the yellow star next to them. So Henry, Sarah, and Molly. And Henry is the rank of Silver, Sarah is Silver, and Molly is Premier. So as a reminder, to hit the rank of Gold, you need 3 personally enrolled Premiers. So right now, Jessica is hitting Premier off of these qualifications. However, once we implement rank compression, that allows you to qualify off of somebody that maybe you didn't personally enroll, but that person was enrolled by somebody that you enrolled, or by somebody that they enrolled, or so on and so forth. So in this case, Molly enrolled Ellie beneath her. So, and Ellie has reached the rank of Silver. So Jessica is able to use Ellie as a qualifier to hit the rank of Platinum. So this would make her Platinum through rank compression. So that's rank compression. That's how that works. And again, it's something to look forward to as you're pushing towards the rank of Platinum. It'll help get you to the rank of Platinum. So we're very excited for this change, and we think it'll be a powerful addition to our compensation plan. Some of the benefits of this rank compression is it does allow you, it incentivizes you to work with the best potential builders wherever they may be. And it also provides an additional level of support. If we go back to the previous slide, so Molly will qualify off of Ellie in addition to you and Jessica qualifying off of Ellie. So you both have mutual interest in supporting Ellie and helping Ellie grow. So this is one of the really cool things is it allows for multiple people to benefit from that person's success. Also frees individuals from feeling stuck where maybe they've had somebody in a key position and not been able to, that person has been disengaged and so they haven't been able to grow. And it also provides rank-related friction where you're not having to negotiate back for gifted enrollment. If you've given enrollment to somebody in the past, you can actually use that person that you've gifted enrollment of to qualify for Platinum or above in the future. All right, so let's talk about the overall compensation plan and how all of this benefits you. So you've heard about Power of Three and some of the changes there, including a new boost. You've also heard about some of the changes with Unilevel and some of the changes with the pool bonuses. So basically what these changes do as a whole, they all work synergistically together to support each other in a very powerful way. And one of the things that it does is it helps create a strong path to 500. Michael talked a little bit about this before, but just through the Power 3 bonus and the Power 3 boost, you can now offer a pathway to somebody to say, hey, I can help you earn $100 each month. And it's not just $100 in the months that they are actively enrolling, which would be the case with Fast Start, because that only lasts 60 days, right? But as long as they're still meeting the Power 3 requirements and they're getting the boost, they can get $100 every month and help get their products paid for. But you can also say that I can help you reach $500 a month. And that again is through the Power 3 250 and the Power 3, the second level boost. So this creates a powerful pathway for you to be able to introduce new builders and sharers to the business, where they can see how they can make some great money. And the cool thing is we say 100, we say 500, but when you add in Fast Start, you add in Unilevel and other bonuses, it actually is more than that. So we are under promising and over delivering, which is always a good thing for building trust and confidence. The changes also help drive Unilevel growth and help drive it in the places that matter the most for your bonus. Unilevel is one of the most powerful parts of our compensation plan, and this allows you and your team to focus on the areas that will grow your paycheck the most, because we know, in the passion of sharing amazing products and amazing opportunity, that you also need to be compensated well for your efforts to make sure that you're taken care of and that you feel like it's worth your effort. And then we're removing barriers and simplifying things. We're also increasing platinum incentives, and we're again innovating for the future. We're preparing for the future, and we do believe that these changes will align us really well for an amazing wave of growth in the future. Now I wanted to share with you some of the resources that we have for you. So I know that we've talked about a lot, and if this is your first time hearing these changes, this may feel overwhelming. You're like, what is this personal growth volume? What is this team growth volume? And I've seen a lot of questions in the chat, and I apologize, I didn't have a chance to get back to all the questions on the Q&A in the chat. But rest assured, we will have many more opportunities for you to have your questions answered. So if you didn't have something answered, or you're left unsure about things, just know that we do have resources to support you. So first, I wanted to come back to this slide that Isaac shared at the beginning. This will take you to a folder in DMK if you scan that QR code. And it'll give you access to a slide deck. It'll give you access to I think it's a 2-pager and then a 4-pager that kind of outlines these compensation plan updates. One of the PDFs basically it has kind of an outline of what are the changes, and it talks about it from a changes perspective. And then another one of them, I think that's the 4-pager if I remember correctly. It just has the changes as this will be the new compensation plan. So it's not outlining this is the difference between the two. It's saying this is our compensation plan. This is what it will be going forward. And the timeline on that is we are pushing for June. So June 1st is the anticipated launch for the compensation plan update. So again, there's various resources there. There's also a podcast that you can get a walkthrough of all the changes, and we will be putting a copy of the recording of this call in that folder as well. So you can access that, and you can share this with anybody on your team. It's available in the DMK, open to everybody. I also wanted to make you aware of the training schedule. So in addition to this call, we will also be launching various calls. So throughout the remainder, we have kind of outlined here 2 weeks, but we have follow-up calls, and there will be 3 call times a day that you can sign up for a smaller group call where you can unmute yourself, you can jump on and ask all the questions that you have. This webinar was too big for us to be able to facilitate that. But in these follow-up calls, you'll have an opportunity to unmute or chat in and ask all the questions that you have, and we'll be able to answer those. And again, it's a smaller group, about 30 people. And I'll share the registration for those calls in the next slide. But we'll also have additional follow-up training calls. We're planning on kind of weekly calls for the next month or so, as long as it's needed and it's helpful and people continue to join them. We'll continue to carry those out as long as until the compensation plan updates go live. And so the registration for these follow-up training calls on the 24th and the 31st, there's a link right there and that QR code. So feel free to scan that and register if you're interested in joining either of those calls. And we'll be sending out additional information on additional calls in the future. And then coming back to kind of those small group calls, if you want to register for one of the small group calls, this is the registration for the power of 3. So basically, we're going to break these up into 2 call types. One is focusing on the power of 3 and the boost and the enhancements there. And one is focusing on Unilevel and pools and the enhancements there. So, if you're interested in signing up for one of those calls, scan that QR code and get registered. And we'll send out these links following this call as well, so you can have access to those. And then I'll flip to the next slide. And these are the Unilevel and pool calls right here. So there's a separate registration link for those. So scan the QR code if you'd like to join one of those. And you can join as many of these as you'd like. If they do fill, if we do have these limited to 30 per call, just so we can facilitate like a really good discussion and then answer all of your questions. But if these do fill, we will be opening up additional calls. So just wanted to let you know, and we'll send out additional details on that shortly. So those are some of the additional resources and calls that we have coming. And lastly, I just want to add, we will have as many calls as is helpful. We will jump on one-on-one calls with you if you need. Whatever is needed to help you feel confident in understanding the material and understanding how to leverage it and use this within your teams to grow successfully in the future. So do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. We would love to spend whatever time we need to help you be confident and ready to go for the future. And then one last call out for Isaac mentioned this, but the Boost Your Business promotion. Again, that's running. It started in February and it will be running through May until these compensation plan updates go live in June. So this is the way for you to focus on growing your business going forward. So the details are on that QR code, so feel free to check it out if you haven't already. But we would love for you to be able to qualify for a boost with your Power 3. And you're able to do that through this promotion even now. So even though not all of the changes in the compensation plan they're not live right now, we are taking this one piece of it, the boost, and we are launching that early. So basically what you do is you'd still meet your Power 3 requirements as you normally do. But then if you meet the personal growth volume metric, then you can get an extra $50 or $250. So would really encourage you to take full advantage of this yourself and to help your team do the same. Help your team get an extra 50, help your team get an extra 250. And everything else that we talked about in the compensation plan is addressed by this. If you have any concerns about how to maximize the compensation plan, doing this is your path to doing that. So hope that you again take full advantage. This is like the company paying you to make any adjustments that you need to. to maximize the compensation plan once it goes live. So I've never heard of anything like this within the industry. So something that you want to take full advantage of. All right, and that is everything on our call today. Thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate you and everything that you do to share doTERRA and the lives that you impact in the process. Again, look forward to having you on one of our future calls, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Have a great day.